The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm going to be your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, Turquoise Radio, Simul TV on the X-Zone Radio channel, Simul TV on the X-Zone TV channel. Wow, I've got too many channels going on. And of course, independent broadcasters right across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. Our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com, and you can always send an email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. I hope everybody had a great weekend, and to all our Canadian listeners who are celebrating a nice long weekend, I hope that everybody is safe and sound and that you enjoyed yourselves and you're ready for another week of investigating the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here in the X-Zone. Well, let's get the ball rolling, X-Zone Nation. My first guest tonight is Joanie Eisinger. We're going to be talking to Joanie, amongst other things, about her personal encounter with star beings. Joanie received her Master of Social degree from Columbia University. In New York City, she provided individual group therapy for 10 years. Her path took a detour when she became acutely chemically sensitive. She left conventional medicine, found complementary or alternative healing, and ventured on a spiritual journey. Joanie healed and spent a great deal of time reading and researching spirituality and healing. She realized her newfound knowledge far exceeded the training she had believed. Joining me now is Joanie Eisinger. And Joanie, welcome to the X-Zone.
Hi, Rob. Welcome. Thank you.
So you tell us a little bit about the illness that changed your life and catapulted you into what you're doing now.
Well, people have dark nights of the soul, and I sure had one. I was chemically sensitive for many years. Some people have allergies to cats or mold or maybe even paint, but I had very strange experiences. Newsprint would have me down on the floor where I wasn't able to move or speak. Going into the automotive department of a store where there were chemicals that were actually bottled, I would be able to smell things that other people couldn't even smell.
Wow.
The finish on clothing I could smell in stores, and that would just have me down on the floor too. It got to the point where I was homebound for 6 months. I was unable to open up doors and windows. I couldn't take any medicines. At one point, I could only eat 2 foods, and at one point, I couldn't even drink water. I had to leave medicine. The doctors had no idea what was going on with me. It's called multiple chemical sensitivities or environmental illness, MCS or EI. And my son was also chemically sensitive as well. So a chiropractor was practicing energy medicine, and he came on my path, and he started healing both of us. And during that time, I started reading books about spirituality. Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Louise Hay, the PBS special folks. And I didn't realize that as I was healing, I was also awakening and shifting, and my consciousness was
All right, what we're
expanding.
going to do here, Joanie, is we're going to take a cliffhanger because I have got to take my first commercial break. Please stand by. Exonation, Joanie Eisinger is our special guest. Her website is www.jonieswhitelighthealing.com, and she's the author of David's Guidance, a book of light, which is available online, including at Amazon.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is The X Zone. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled lite.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Exonation, Joanie Eisinger is my special guest. Her website is www.joanieswhitelighthealing.com. She's also the author of David's Guidance, a book of light, and her book is available on Amazon.com and other online retailers as well. Before we went to the commercial break, Joanie, you and I were talking about your quest or your journey into spirituality. And where we last left off, that you had a chiropractor who was doing energy healing crossed your path.
Yes. He helped awaken me. He told me everything is a frequency. Everything can be broken down into a frequency, and that you and I, in the end, we connect in different ways, and the whole universe is connected. I'm a Jew by birth, so a lot of the information that was coming in was not jiving. I was more religiously trained. But I was ready. My spirit was ready. So I kept reading, and I started reading what ascended masters would say. It wasn't my leaning to read what Buddha or Jesus was saying to the world, and everything was jiving. So during this time, I also began doing hands-on healing. My son had like a low-level asthma, so he'd come to me with difficulty breathing. I'd put my hands on his chest. White light would be flowing out of my palms. I'd close my eyes, see white light. I'd say, please heal this child of God, and he'd stop coughing. And then the tired mom in the middle of the night who didn't want to get up and do it, I'd take my arm, pull it out from underneath the pillow, and with intention, I'd put it towards my son, and from around the corner from another room, he'd stop coughing. And then people would say that they had lost a departed one or pet, and I'd start channeling them. I had no fear of this. And during this time, I kept reading and reading more. Past lives, reincarnation, pre-birth planning, how to heal with color, automatic writing, and the list went on. And I never thought that in my 40s that I would ever be able to memorize the chakras and the aura levels. I just thought, wow, this is really neat. But I was awakening. And then I learned, go ahead.
No.
Oh, I'll keep going. A friend who was a social worker colleague became a shaman, and he worked with me 3,000 miles away. He was in the state of Washington, and I'm in New Jersey. And I felt him working on me. And again, he said, this is all intention. And that's when I began doing remote healing. I put pen to paper, and I began channeling my guide, David, who later outed himself as Yeshua or Jesus, and I started writing many channeled pieces. I became clairvoyant, where I was able to see, and claircognizant. I was able to know and feel and hear. And I could go into my aura, and I saw that arrow that had killed me, and I saw the shard, and I pulled it out, and I healed myself. I learned a tapping modality, emotional freedom technique, and I learned how to tap away fears. So it went on like this, and it was pretty psychedelic. And in the meantime, I had no fear of this. It felt extremely natural. So I practiced on my friends, and they came and they said, you should do this. This is what you are, a healer.
Now, I understand you also channel different star groups, the Galactic Federation, Ashtar, the Syrian Council, etc. And I understand you even speak Pleiadian.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, when I was a kid, I looked up at the sky, and I would always be fascinated by Orion.
Right.
I had no idea why. I just knew something was up. literally and figuratively. And then as I kept reading, people on my path would start talking about our friends. So I had read about the Galactic Federation, the Galactic Federation of Light, and Ashtar, and I felt that I knew them. I felt that I was very close with them. Because I was claircognizant, that's the divine knowing, and clairvoyant, I would go and look up at the sky, and I felt that I was making connection with stars as they would blink. I got to the point where I could know that my friends were landing ships in my kitchen, and I was able to understand what they were saying. At first, it was an English download. It was coming through as English. But then I allowed myself to receive channels that sounded different. And because I was a linguistics major in college and I took phonetics, my mouth was very able to move around in different ways that we don't use our tongues and mouths, teeth, etc., to speak English and other languages of Earth. So I allowed it to happen.
All right.
Yeah.
You said that your friends' landing ships landed in your kitchen?
Oh, yeah.
Now, what do these ships look like?
I don't necessarily see the specifics of it, but I clairvoyantly and claircognizantly will have the knowing and the visual that the ship is there. Several times the color was that of like a yellow-orange, and that's what I received. I have other friends who are able to do this as well, and we have different takes, different, different visions. But for me, it was more of a claircognizant knowing versus a very detailed clairvoyant seeing.
Why you? Tell me why they picked you.
Well, I'm an old soul, so I've been around.
But how did they know that?
Well, I call myself ground crew. I'm not from around here. I'm a star being. I'm originally from Arcturus, and I've been on many other planets, many other star systems,
right.
And I come down here to assist with the ascension, with the awakening, and I'm not the only one. There are many, many, many of us that are on the Earth at this time and have been for a long time, knowing that this is not quote-unquote home, that we predate Earth, that we assisted in the creation of Earth, and that we enjoy being here in that way to assist.
Let me ask you this. You seem to have read an awful lot of books. You're a very in-tuned lady. Why is it then that all of this channeling that we're learning about today seems to be something that is relatively new when it comes to, quote-unquote, and I'm putting this in brackets, the new age? Throughout history, there have been channels, sure, and channeling became really popular during World War I when a lot of charlatans popped up their ugly heads and they were taking advantage of those who were going through massive grief, and that's where the Ouija board comes from, and a whole list of other things. If in fact, and I'm not doubting you, I'm just asking a question here.
No, it's good.
If you and others were here at the time of creation, why isn't it mentioned anywhere?
Let's see. I will say that I don't know, but can I channel that for you?
Sure.
Okay, let's see what they say.
Okay. And who are you channeling?
Let's see. I'll have them tell me also for everyone.
Okay. Now, while you're doing that, I don't like dead air, so I'm going to let my listeners know that this is the X-Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, and a host of independent radio and TV stations around the world. Email xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, and our guest this hour is Joanie Eisinger, and her website is jonieswhitelighthealing.com. Back to you, Joanie.
Ashtar takes the forefront. There are several Pleiadians who are to my right. There are 3. There is a commander. He calls himself Li Hoi, and he's here. There is a woman commandant. She is Trio. There is Plea, Commander Plea, and I have channeled him before. And they will speak as a collective. When we come through your channel, when we come down, we say no. We say, so many times we have spoken through the sages. It is time again to continue speaking through one and another, yet many have forgotten. It is so. We continue to repeat our promise. We will arrive. We will have moments when you will see us in the sky. We will arrive. However, many have forgotten. So many have come through the sages. The material has been hidden. It is lost, hidden, buried. Tombs. Sages have left the earth with the information. The material, the written documents of our channels have been taken, misused, rewritten, perhaps lost, and they're quoting lost like with a wink. So when you ask the woman as Joanie why it has not come through since creation, we say, often we are here, yet the ones who deceive, they move the information away. They take your time, they take your attention. They do not want this knowing. It is so. So we say, hurrah, so many come forth now to proclaim our existence, and we are glad. We continue to work through Joanie and others in order for the remembrances of the sages who incarnate over and over again to be brought forth as more information comes through their tongues. They weep. They know the information was misused, others misled by tainted information, yet they will continue onward, writing, channeling, speaking truth. And then they're blessing you, Rob.
Wow. Well, I guess that answered my question now, didn't it? Well,
yeah.
Yes and no.
They love it.
Yes and no.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What they basically were saying is that they spoke through the sages. So were they talking about they talked through Jesus, they talked through Muhammad, they talked through the other great philosophers, religious and otherwise?
I am getting yes. That many who have walked this earth that have pronounced the glory of God, of the oneness of the universe, that they were in fact channeling those that love us on the other side.
All right, stand by. You and I have got to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation, Joanie Eisinger is our special guest this hour. Her website, very simple, joanieswhitelighthealing.com. And she's also the author of David's Guidance, a book of light, available on Amazon.com and other online stores as well. I'll be back on the other side of the news with Joanie. Don't go away. My name is Rob McConnell, and I would like to tell you about a very special lady that I have the pleasure of knowing, and that's Miss Sylvia Anthony. Sylvia Anthony believes the golden years are a time to gear up and get busy, not relax and take it easy. She has faced many hardships in her 84 years, but they have made her stronger and more determined. As founder and president of Sylvia's Haven, a shelter for women and their children near Boston, Sylvia has helped transform over 1,086 lives in the past 27 years, not only with housing, but also providing direction as to where they can go to develop the earning skills they want and need to live free from difficult domestic situations. Sylvia's Haven is everything to Sylvia Anthony, even calling it her magnificent obsession. Women who qualify for the program at Sylvia's Haven receive assistance via guidance counselors to find the appropriate job opportunity. Women and their children may remain at the housing for up to 2 years. At the end of this time, or sooner, a woman who is successfully employed and has an apartment or home may leave Sylvia's Haven to begin a new and independent life. Now this is where you come in to help make Sylvia's dream into a reality. Sylvia's dream is to have a Sylvia's Haven in every state to help as many women and their children as she can, and to help this dream come true. A crowdfunding site has been established which can be accessed at www.sylviasdream.org. Now that's www.sylviasdream.org. With your financial help and support, Sylvia Anthony will continue to help those in their time of need, not only in the Boston area, but with her dream of having a Sylvia's Haven in every state of the United States. Your help is needed to make Sylvia's dream come true. Please visit and give at www.sylviasdream.org. Once again, www.sylviasdream.org. And remember, the only difference between a dream and reality is just doing it. We need your help to make Sylvia's dream come true. Visit www.sylviasdream.org. Once again, www.sylviasdream.org. For the X Zone Radio TV show and the X Chronicles newspaper, I am Rob McConnell.
My name is Michael Telstar, Canada's leading mentalist from Toronto, Ontario.
Hi, my name is Splenda, and you're listening to my dad, Rob McConnell, on the X Zone.
This is Psychic Dorothy from St. Catharines, and you're listening to Rob McConnell.
Hello, my name is Holly Reeves, an astrologer from Astro For You, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Welcome to The X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Some people call me a bad apple. Well, I may be bruised, but I still taste sweet. Some people call me a bad apple, but I may be the sweetest apple on the tree. I've got the notion to tell you about my history, people. I've got the notion to tell you about how I came up in the world, yeah. Now look, I used to go to school and act a clown and fool, and I used to chase the ladies all around.
That's a bad apple. David Wilcox is the artist there, and that's his song called Bad Apple. Hey, I've been referred to as a bad apple many times in my life. I take it as a compliment, just like David Wilcox does. 1-800-610-7035, worldwide toll-free. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on MSN Messenger and Skype, Xzone Radio TV, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Don't forget, X-Zone Nation, August the 15th is the release date of the next X Chronicles newspaper. They're available online for you to read. We have about 40 or 50 that we have put up with the compliments of our advertisers at www.xzone. Whoa, that's the radio show. Let's go back to the newspaper. www.xchronicles-newspaper.com/newspaperstand.htm. Geez. Monday, what can I say? Long weekend. Laura and our granddaughter went to the zoo yesterday, the Toronto Metro Zoo. I've got to tell you something. They do a fantastic job, and we even saw the pandas. That's right, the two pandas that are here for the next 5 years. And I'd like to thank everybody at the Metro Toronto Zoo for the great time and the courtesy that they showed us. It was a great time. Joanie Eisinger is our special guest, and Joanie is a lady who does healing. She's a psychic. She's a channel, and she also has had personal encounters with star beings. Her website is jonieswhitelighthealing.com, and she's also the author of David's Guidance, a book of light. Welcome back, Joanie. Great having you with us. before we went to the news break, you did a channeling session. You were able to channel three Pleiadians. You channeled Lihoi, Tria, and Commander Plach. Plea, okay. And during that channel session, we were told that they had been speaking through sages through the ages, because I asked, how come they're not marked anywhere in history? And they said that their existence was actually taken out of history. But they kept on saying 3 or 4 times, very specifically, "We will arrive."
That took me by surprise also. I had been waiting for them to arrive in full body,
sure,
full vision too. And when it didn't happen around 12:21, I just put up my hands and said, "Well, I'll be fine just seeing them clairvoyantly." So when that came through me, Rob, I also was a bit taken.
Yeah.
So I can go in and see if they'll give more information, because that sure is a curiosity.
Yeah, maybe in a few minutes, but I'd like to talk to you without imposing on the Pleiadians or whoever is going to come across when you channel, and ask you this very important question.
Sure.
Are they the gods of our past?
I guess that what I would ask as Joanie is, could you be more specific? Is that like
sure.
a term, or is that a personal?
Well, no. What I'm asking for is if they talked or they communicated through the sages in the past, which would be like Jesus Christ or Muhammad and the other religious philosophers and sages that have been throughout history. If they communicated through them, would not that mean that, and this is my interpretation, no one else's, that if somebody is talking to Christ, if from a spiritual realm, or if Christ didn't realize he was channeling, Christ in the Bible says that he was talking to his Father, God. Does this mean that these visitors from other planets or those that you communicate with are the gods of the past?
I don't believe so. They're giving me a no as a misinterpretation. They're saying that I'm just going to go right in. We speak through people who have great influence. Jesus is he is a force. He is a consciousness that has direct line with Creator, with infinite intelligence. We speak of the ones of Joseph, of Isaac, Elijah. We speak of those adult sages, the prophets that come in with force, mighty power. They speak truth. Many listen. And then I'm seeing, as Joanie, I'm saying that I'm seeing crowds gather. I don't see Jesus at the helm with star beings coming through him. I see ones of, if we could start making a hierarchy or social stature, of a lesser influence in our history.
Okay, but in the Bible it says the prophets spoke to God. So, if the prophets were speaking to God in the Bible, and those who you were just channeling say that they were speaking to the prophets, in my book, 1 and 1 equals 2. Therefore, they're claiming to be God.
Yeah, I'm hearing your reasoning, so I'm going to bring them in. I'm just going to have them come through me. This is Plea. So we say the book, this Bible that was put to you for your vision, for you to read, we say misinformation. So much has come through. So much light has entered the planet. The book, it is filtered. There are men who touched this book and moved around writings. They sifted through and they changed our words. We say God is truth. We say light has come to the planet. The book, the Bible, has information that is not correct. We say so much has been moved and shifted. Unfortunately, people continue to rely on the word as the word. When the word is of truth, it is not necessarily through this object, this book. And they're kind of talking, they're kind of off, they're saying this is such a complex issue, this could go on and on regarding what is truth in this book and what isn't truth. It looks like I'm looking at this book called, quote unquote, the Bible, and it's like a mishmash that it's so tainted, it's so sifted through, and so much information is moved around that they would need to sit and have talks about pages and sages.
You also said that there's a lot of love from these people. Now, wait a second. There's another side to this coin. If they have so much love for us, and this is the impression I'm getting from you, why are there wars? Why is the world in such a terrible state? Why is there hunger? Why is there disease? Why are we on the brink of nuclear annihilation? Why don't they just step in and help us?
Well, there's something called the law of non-interference, and this has been agreed upon by the Galactic Federation.
So do you mean they'd let us destroy ourselves?
No. I have read that we would not go by nuclear annihilation, that there's our planet is a model for love, and that is the goal, is for there to be a shift of energies where people, one soul by one soul, wake up, and that plowshares are put down.
But when we take a look at all the people who have been killed over the years in the name of religion, doesn't that seem a little contrary to what you're being told?
I believe in pre-birth planning, which is a concept that not many people, or many people at this point, know about. An author, Robert Schwartz, wrote Your Soul's Gift and Your Soul's Plan, and he prolifically talks about our being with our soul group members and are making very big decisions before we incarnate.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Traumas.
I've heard that a number of times from guests, and my question to each and every one of them is, why would we want to do something that will do us harm?
Because Creator, when it sparked itself out at the beginning, it wanted to know itself in all of its ways.
So are we puppets for the Creator?
No. We are in fact Creator. We are in fact God's sparks. So it's not that we are separate from it. We are it.
So does that mean does that explain in the Bible, and God said, "Let us create man in our image, our likeness"?
It's interesting because I don't tend to reflect back. So when you to Bible quotes and that, so that's where I'm not as versed. Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to say I don't know because as Joanie, I'd have to channel that because I don't really use that as a staple.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So in terms of why bad things, quote unquote bad things happen, in my belief. My belief is that everything is perfect, and that in fact we'll go back to Creator, infinite intelligence. It had this grand plan to offer us opportunities for soul growth expansion, and this I consider Earth School. This is not home. This is a learning institution, and we play parts with our soul group members, and we choose them before we come down. Will we be a man, a woman? Where will we live? Who will be our parents? And we even put exit opportunities down on the timeline for when we might even choose to die, with high probabilities of when that might occur. And we also choose traumas. We choose issues that could be quite disturbing, on paper. And we plan these events with members of our soul group that we adore, because we know that they could play these parts well.
All right, let me ask you this. How do we know that this is real and not just something that we want to believe to be real?
I can only say, with all the reading I've done, I read somewhere, and I wish I could remember where, that this can never be proven, that it's not supposed to be, there's the beauty in this.
But because it can't be proven, doesn't this mean that it could be a bunch of poo, for a better word, and that this is just another way of trying to explain the unexplainable?
I believe that this is one big, beautiful project and that everyone comes into a lifetime searching for truth. I had a voice in my head when I was young, and it said, you must know the truth. And I had no idea what the heck that meant. And then I went on the spiritual journey, and I started reading about truth. And I also did learn that one should not, it is advisable not to just tag on to someone else's truth. They must come to that conclusion for themselves, and they should use discernment, and they should go with their gut, and they should go with what feels good. And if it doesn't feel right, and if it gives them fear, it is best to discard it.
Well,
so I have my own truth. Others have theirs, and that if it in the end is all poof, but it made them feel wonderful and it gave them faith and hope and they lived a full life, well, I say that poof was a blessing.
But there's three sides to every story, as I always say. His side, her side, and the truth.
Yeah.
That's
right.
It's hard. How do you deal with skepticism?
I bless the person. I understand that everyone is at a different place with their awareness.
Yeah.
I don't have anger. I don't go to a place of fear. I don't scorn a soul for being a skeptic. Someone recently on Facebook, they alluded that I was part of the occult. And I thought, wow. And for I'm human. I'm human. So for a moment, I felt that sting.
But wait a sec. I thought you weren't human. I thought that you were from another star.
I am a star being in a human body.
How do you know?
Oh, well, I guess when Syrian and Pleiadian and other languages start coming out of your mouth.
No disrespect meant here. No disrespect meant here, but people who have issues sometimes talk in strange languages.
Yeah.
Multiple personality disorders.
Sure. I guess, I don't know. I have my knowing, and it feels right to me, and I've met enough people, enough friends who also are able to channel star languages, and we're able to channel how we know one another from the other side, and we smile, and it's just a knowing.
So there's a lot of smiling going on, huh?
Yeah, well, when you feel good, when life brings you joy, and when you are able to channel for others and do healings where their physical conditions improve, where their mental states improve.
It's a good feeling.
When there are things that you have said from the other side that gives them a shift in their awareness, it's a blessing. So,
all right, stand by. I've got to take a commercial break. Please stand by.
Sure.
Exonation, Joanie Eisinger is our guest this hour. Her website is jonieswhitelighealing.com. That's www.jonieswhitelighealing.com. And she's the author of David's Guidance, A Book of Light. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
There is a season.
With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.msteinfo.com. MATSTEIN.com. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Every time I look into your lovely eyes, I see a love that money just can't buy. One look from you, I drift away, I pray.
Welcome back, everyone. Joanie Eisinger is my special guest this hour. Her website is www.jonieswhitelightshealing.com. And Joanie's is Joanies, whitelightshealing.com. She's the author of David's Guidance, a book of light. It's available on Amazon.com and other fine online bookstores. First of all, Joanie, I want to thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure having you with us, and I wish you and all those that you channel the very best.
Thanks so much. It's been a great evening.
It has. We'll have to have you back on because we haven't even, we still have so much to talk about.
I'd love to.
What message would you like to leave with our listening audience around the world tonight? Or what let me ask you, let me rephrase it. Yeah. What message do those you channel have for the radio audience around the world tonight?
Okay. Would you like me to speak in Pleiadian?
We've got 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
Okay.
So if you could do half and half, that would be super.
Okay. We say hello, andos indesese, to many around the world. We are here. Sindalos andese sindesaladana. Sinces andedede. Many come in, the planets, they align. Alesinoda. There are so many cosmic occurrences that are happening at this moment. Sinzelas inzasalat andeses ilet indeze. Look up, we are here. As inzasalat andesendatsala, and they're blessing everyone around the world. There's energy going out. It's pouring down, not just on listeners, but they're blessing everyone. Sindazala sonzas inzeze. May you wake each day halasilele with love. Halasondasa in your heart. Zila sondaselet indeza sondas iletiziaza. Zilisizolat diasisizolat anzesia. Mary Magdalene is here. She wishes you peace. La silota sienda. The Savior Jesus Christ, Sata, Mother Mary, Zalala, Bosalata sienda sisia. And the archangels, the ascended masters, we are all with you. We conclude, happiness is in your heart, alesilahala. Sleep well, hasondeseletia. And then they send peace to everyone, and then everyone's eyes, I see there's a glistening in everyone's eyes of joy.
Wow. You said, does this drain you physically?
Never.
Never, eh?
No, if I could do this 24/7, I would.
I'm sure there have been times when you have.
I did about 23 readings in a row.
Whoa.
At a metaphysical fair, and that was the longest. It was like an Energizer Bunny experience. But when one connects with the divine ones, it's like having one foot in paradise, and it's hard to be in both places, but I have work to do here, so I do both.
Joanie, once again, I want to thank you ever so much for joining us. A great pleasure talking to you.
I'm sorry. You are running low on calling credit. Your call will be disconnected in 5 minutes.
What the heck was that, Craig? Thanks, buddy. All right. Thank you very much, Joanie. Take care of yourself. And you and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues. We're right here from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Once again, XZone at XZoneRadioTV.com, on MSN Messenger, XZoneRadioTV@hotmail.com, and our website, www.XZoneRadioTV.com. Don't go away now.